So here's the Howie test, which is crucial. Identifying. So the Howie test refers to a U.S. Supreme Court case that was determined whether a transaction qualifies as an investment contract and therefore would be considered a security and subject to a disclosure and regulation requirements under the Securities Act of 1933 and the Security Exchange Act of 1934. Under the Howie test, an investment contract, if there is investment of money in a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation of profits to be derived from the efforts of others. So now certainly the discrepancy, what cryptocurrency are they not? We've had ICOs, hope and expectation of completed, the product, are they finished products? So under this whole Howie test. Well, what happened is with the Howie test, how it occurred, the Supreme Court reached a decision. The Howie Company sold a tract of citrus groves to buyers in Florida, who would then lease back the land to the Howie Company. Staff would tend to the groves and sell the fruits on the behalf of the owners. Both parties shared in the revenues. Most buyers had no experience in agriculture and were not required to tend to the land. So they failed to register the transaction with the Security Exchange Commission. Why? Because there was work, there was efforts on their behalf. There was an expectation that the Howie Company had a staff, would tend to the grove, would sell the fruits on the behalf of the lease back from the land, which is key. So expectations. So now we run through this. Is it a security? Is it not a security? But I found things interesting as I do research, and certainly this cryptocurrency has come into effect. XEN, which copies a PZen. This is not PZen. So this is mass inflation. So certainly the whole concept behind this is that we're going to do something. You're going to mint for your coins, and with the future that you're going to then stake these coins. And Jack Levin comes out and he was introduced to Richard Hart through Maddie in a conference, and he comes out and he's a parent. He's been early in Bitcoin and brings him to the same stage as Richard Hart, and there's some conversations that occur. So now this cryptocurrency here, well, you mint for it. So the possibility, but mass inflation. So it becomes disinflationary over time. So you have mass inflation, how many coins, how many contracts, how many wallets, and you have centralized parties. Is there going to be a tier one opening, whatever? So all this stuff is happening. Well, anyways, this is XN. Mass inflation since it started. So from the beginning, here we go. We have tons of inflation. So it's selling off, selling off, selling off. So you get this for gas. But what I found interesting is you're going to create NFTs to burn, to make this disinflationary, but you're going to hit it with mass inflation. So 8 years will go by, and then eventually you can stake, you can put this so it follows the first principle, decentralization goes. But interesting, does it really meet the Howie test? Which I found very interesting. But I'll let you listen to this. Here's something that I found, and here's Jack Levins and with the crypto. And let's take a listen here.
The other option is we're working on what's called flash loans, where within a single transaction, you should be able to borrow from the loan.
So as you get, we are working on, who is working on? We are working on flash loans. Okay, let's further on.
Or you can borrow as a loan from a pool of people who provide liquidity for this.
So for people who provide liquidity for. So now we can provide liquidity. Interesting.
Flash loan and immediately mint your Zen, and the contract will then
so immediately then the contract will then. But we are working on. Okay, let's continue on.
Convert the Zen to gas money for you without you actually having to pay initial gas at all.
So now you'll be able to burn your Zen without you having to pay any gas at all. So now, is there work being done on the expectations and efforts so this way something will happen? You be the judge.
Now, the liquidity providers, the loan providers, will get a percentage for the service they're providing. So if you have Zen that's loose in your wallet, you can take it into a pool that can be used for flash loans to pay for people's mints. And then
so you can use your liquid XEN to be used for flash loans. So, but yet there has to be some work that has to be done in order for this to occur. Take a listen.
You pay maybe 1 or 2 or maybe 3%, and that rewards the people in the pool. And at the same time, you get gasless transaction by reallocating the minted Zen towards gas.
So you get gasless, but what was the key thing? Someone has to create, and we are creating this. So is there work, is there expectations on the behalf of others for the mere profits? So if that is not done, can you do disinflation? Can you reduce the supply? Does this meet the Howie test? So this is something that certain personalities, even within a certain cryptocurrency community, that are promoting. This here, does it meet? You be the judge. Thought I'd share that. Lots of inflation up front. Possibly 8 years later, we're going to create the hope, the expectation that something's going to happen. But yet, is there efforts and work done on the behalf with the intent of profits? You heard it right there. You be the judge. So is this a security? Is this registered with the Securities Act? And what other investments that is creating as he's doing the layer 1 solution to try to create XEN? So you be the judge.